What are you willing to sacrifice to become a myth, to become unrivaled, to become the best? What kind of training are you willing to suffer? I'm talking about going in ice cold water in frozen mountains with nothing on type suffering. What are you trying to sacrifice to become the best? Atsu did it all to get revenge and become a myth. Let's get into it. The Ghost Saga, at first glance, seems like a more grounded series. But if you analyze this verse deeply, it kind of seems superhuman, like the humans in this universe seem kind of superhuman. Let's get into it. Ghost of Yōtei. The main character, Atsu, is a strong fighter in this universe. She's the swordsmith's daughter, wandering mercenary. Her life was pretty tragic after the Yōtei 6 destroyed her family. So for 16 years, she was more or less by herself. Then she finally came home. But by that time, she was like one of the best warriors or fighters in this universe at that point. She knows how to use every weapon. I mean, heck, she had mentors. That's an oversimplification saying she knows how to use every weapon. Saito's logs, you know, the main villain of the game, who's a master with every weapon, literally calls Hanbei a dual katana master. And she has to master each of these weapons, kind of like him, like you could say. Not only does she catch on quick, she's self-taught.
I see you're self-taught.
Most people weren't willing to teach me.
Because you're a woman, or because you refused their help?
Both. I learned to fight in the south, picking pockets, watching samurai, signing up for the peasant infantry, whatever helped me survive.
She's quick to master weapons, even weapons that she shouldn't even be able to wield, like the Odachi, for example. I'm gonna get to her skills and why she's skilled in a second. Hold on. You can argue this is video game logic, but there's some suspicious occasions in story moments where she survives or is able to shake off injuries that shouldn't be shake-offable, like this fall, for example, right here. This is like a crucial story moment, so I wouldn't really say it's a game mechanic. Kind of shows her out of the ordinary fantasy type qualities. Thanks to her battle-hardened nature, it's implied in the game's lore, they make sure they don't forget to tell us that she's a woman. And in the game's lore, they always bring up that she's a woman and she's such a skilled fighter. No, I'm not exaggerating when I say they make it known that she's a woman, implying she's born with a disadvantage physically, but she still is a beast. Even saying she's a woman the Yōtei 6 should fear. We even see her muscles, even though nothing too crazy, we see her muscles clash with a lot of men throughout the game. Like in Raw Muscle, when their weapons clash and they're pushing against each other, it shows her muscle is pretty impressive for her to be a freaking woman. And beings that are bigger than her, like the Oni, for example, one of the Yōtei 6, she's able to clash with and muscles clash without just getting completely instantly overwhelmed in muscle, despite Oni being a big guy. One of the rare beings that's actually able to muscle overpower her is like the final boss, like Saito himself. But I'll bring up Saito again in the same video though, later on. The point is, her muscle is pretty decent for a woman her size and weight. Nothing super duper crazy. We see her lift though. Just a few occasions I just thought it was worthy to show in this video for entertainment. Pulling down all this stuff with her gear, messing up platforms, pulling these rocks, trees. For the most part though, let's just say whatever strength, physical, muscle she might have lacked, she makes up with it in skills. And you know skills can help you strike harder. That's a real life thing. If somebody's stronger than you in real life, if you have enough skills, you could bridge the gap on who can punch harder based on technique if the gap isn't too wide. That's kind of how it is with Atsu. Even though she's a woman, she can strike harder than a lot of men or even cut harder than a lot of men because of her swordsmanship or skills. And even her brother, she's technically always been better with than a blade. Even though they were both skilled when they were younger, they used to always have sparring sessions or training sessions with a blade. I would like to mention, thanks to her mentors, even though she's ridiculously skilled, 16 years level experience, she's gotten stronger. Even throughout the course of the game via training from her mentors to make her arms even stronger and faster than they was before to get ready for Saito himself, the main guy that killed her family. It's not just stated, but the game's events kind of prove this. It's stated the goal was to even master each of these weapons. So you can technically say, if you do all the game's events, narratively, she's a master with every weapon that we get throughout this game. Yari, dual swords, katana. She's a master at stealth and ridiculously fast with kunai, to be able to take out multiple people before they can even react. And then there's the little fact she can literally throw weapons like on some bullseye from Marvel Comics type status and throw it with enough precision to where it's actually considered lethal from a distance. There's been plenty of occasions where they're severely outnumbered, but that doesn't seem to matter because they're just on a whole nother level of skill compared to your average skilled swordsman. But yeah, anyway, she can use the Odachi. Just like the Oni, she can ignite her gear in flame itself to attack you with her fiery weapon. Kunai, kusarigama, actual guns. You could argue and call one of her weapons a wolf itself because it will help her at times. She knows how to use bombs, a bow and arrow. She got all types of arrows, explosive missile launcher arrows, poison arrows, flaming arrows, you name it. She technically even got Jin Sakai's blade, you know, the main character of Ghost of Tsushima, the prequel game. Yeah, Jin is kind of a legend, so yeah, she actually had to fight off some people to get his actual blade. I mean, heck, thanks to her training, she even got some mental training to counter this being like the Kitsune's illusions. When at first she couldn't handle this illusion crap, she eventually got to the point where she could counter it. Thanks to her training with the other Kitsune. Don't ask, there was 2 Kitsunes in the game. Yep.
You need a new trick.
How are you resisting?
She knows what is real and what is only an illusion.
Yep. She got training from one of the Yōtei 6 that, yeah, she redeemed herself. Let's just say that. She let her escape, saved her life. So part of the reason why she's so skilled, she fought in this universe's battle to end all battles, a ridiculous war, and she was on the losing side and still survived.
My sister was at Sekigahara, the battle to end all battles.
I was on the losing side.
But you were there.
I mean, yeah, part of this is probably because she's the main character, but just to prove that, yeah, whatever she might lack in muscle from her genetics, she makes up with it in raw skill, enabling her to hit hard. I mean, even when she was younger, when she was sparring with her brother, that's a male, even he was like, where did you learn to hit like that? Implying it's out of the ordinary. It's kind of proven with her bamboo strikes. When other characters have problem cutting stuff, it shows that she makes up for her muscle, or she has out of the ordinarily strong muscle when she's able to slice stuff others can't, and they're impressed by it. Oh, you think I'm exaggerating? Other skilled swordsmen will literally gather around and watch her do stuff they had problems doing, showing she can hit out of the ordinarily hard. And there's actual dialogue kind of implying it. People celebrating after she does it. I mean, she was literally at an outpost with trained samurai and was able to do better at slicing stuff they had problems with, y'all. If this doesn't prove she can hit harder than normal, I don't know what does. She can just hit hard. Her being able to hit hard makes sense. I mean, we literally see her fight hand to hand without using a blade, so she can just straight up fight. Oh, if you think that's just a game mechanic, well, this actually happened in a cutscene and narrative, in a story mission, where she had to fight like a whole bunch of samurai with hands, trained men. It's little moments like this that pretty much hammer home the fact that she's just not a realistic type character, even though she seems grounded from the inside looking in, but when you analyze it, she's just out of the ordinarily strong. It was so bad, she straight up embarrassed these guys.
Get up, you idiots!
I can't imagine Lord Natsume will be pleased when he hears his men were bested by a single wanderer. And a woman at that.
This never happened.
I know you're trying to hold on to the hope that she's just normal and not superhuman, but yo, when you analyze her combat speed, she's outrageously superhuman. No human can do the things she can do in real life. Yeah, I'm talking about her fighting speed. Like, real life humans would practically be moving in slow motion compared to her fighting speed. I mean, she improved her muscles, got training to be faster and stronger. She's literally fast enough to deflect arrows being launched at her. She's even fast enough to deflect gunfire. You can literally say she has supersonic reflexes, or dang near close to supersonic reflexes. In order for her to do this, all she needs is light enough clothing. So that means if she's completely naked, she's fast enough to block, deflect bullets. All she needs is her movements to be freed up.
I found the armor.
It won't stop a bullet, but I labored day and night to make that armor as light as clothing. It should free up your movement so you can deflect their shots with your katana.
And the funny thing about this is that there's other characters in this universe that can do this. So they have similar fighting speed to be able to do this. And these are the kind of beings she has to fight in sword fights. She can compete in fighting speed with beings that can deflect gunfire as well. And then she has moves that's controversial, which is hard to really take it as Bible because we've never really seen her do this in a cutscene. But this is something that was in Ghost of Tsushima as well, being able to move like a blur through short distances. Like, literally looks like she's doing some mini teleportation. Is this part canon? I don't know. Like, we don't really see her do this kind of stuff in cutscenes. I mean, if she could do this, why would she need a horse? If she could just always move like a blur like that, you know what I mean? You know, it's just one of them controversial things. But her hands seem ridiculously fast, though. Now, I will admit, she's definitely superhuman just from that alone, but there are some points in the story where they exaggerate some stuff about her lore, like arrows that can pierce a mountain. When they talk about it, they give context to let us know as a watcher it's just an exaggeration story, but it's still cool to know. Even though I would like to know in the story, well, how did this become like this, though?
Why do you seek the arrow?
If it can break a mountain, it can break the people who've taken from me.
Mugwort arrow.
I get the feeling it won't be as powerful in my hands.
Yeah, I know it's a mythic tale, but imagine if she really did have an arrow that can pierce a mountain. You probably didn't expect characters in this universe to have supersonic reflexes, but Atsu, based on the opponent she has to fight, her deflecting gunfire from that range, she has to have supersonic plus type reflexes to be able to react to bullets like that in her katana. It's all a matter of her just being able to move around. Like, she just gets quicker. That's why it's a big emphasis on light armor in this game. She lives in a world where these characters are supposedly grounded type characters, but they're doing superhuman stuff by deflecting bullets. Trust me, Atsu in this game is not the only character that can deflect bullets. A lot of the main characters, like the Yōtei 6, can deflect bullets with their gear too. She's competing against beings with similar fighting speed to herself, and she still is considered out of the ordinary, having a scary reputation even in this universe's standards. To the point where she developed a nickname, a myth about herself, saying she became a spirit, an Onryō spirit, which is superstition apparently. Even if it is superstition, people seem to take it seriously based on how raw of a fighter she is.
You fight with exceptional skill. There have been rumors of an Onryō stalking Saito's men. Well, I heard stories about you, the unkillable Onryō.
Do you know how scary you gotta be? The Yōtei 6 themselves kind of start taking this superstition a little seriously, or they kind of start getting nervous.
Someone with a grudge is picking off members of our old gang.
So you were afraid?
And so, the Oni and the Kitsune joined the snake among the dead.
How could one woman cause so much damage?
She isn't a woman. She's a vengeful ghost.
Peasants and their superstitions.
That night has come back to haunt us.
Stop being so dramatic.
I honestly can't blame these characters for being nervous. I mean, she literally took on or picked off each member of the Yōtei 6, took them on 1v1, including characters like the Oni, one of the beings that is obsessed with fire, took him out in a fair and square 1v1, canonically messed him up so bad to where he literally is crawling to where he couldn't defend himself, along with her brother, finished him Mortal Kombat style. I mean, wouldn't you start getting scared of a character that can take on two of the strongest fighters of the Yōtei 6 at the same time? I'm talking about a member of the Yōtei 6 is literally shooting at her from afar while she's taking on another member of the Yōtei 6. Imagine having the high ground on a character and you got a gun that can shoot a character from far away and you're outnumbering her, but you're scared of her still. I'm talking about some of the best fighters in this game's universe are literally saying, nah, I'm about to run. Made Spider run. You guys already knew she took out the Kitsune, the Oni, she took out the dragon, the snake, another member of the Yōtei 6. This is partly the reason why her reputation got started, because she literally got stabbed, but she still retaliated after the stab, stabbed him, appeared like she died, and just woke up like you didn't just die or get stabbed. This is where the ghost myth came from. She literally got stabbed. A ghost that can't die until she accomplishes her mission. She literally took on this swordsman that literally is dubbed Takuzo the Unrivaled, saying he doesn't have a rival. But she literally defeated him when he was getting bored at the fact that he couldn't get defeated.
Finally, I am Takuzo the Unrivaled no more. You're the Unrivaled now. Atsu, may that title suit you better than it did me.
Literally taking away his title in a death battle, proving herself worthy by defeating him. A lot of people debate who is a better fighter, Takuzo the Unrivaled or Saito, the main villain of this game. Saito himself is dubbed as a master of every single weapon. And he's one of those characters that won't pull out the katana unless you're worthy. During her fight with Saito, even though he's one of those characters that pushed her to the limit, she forced him to pull out the katana. Even he said, "You are ready." Heck, there's even a point where they had to double team Saito, but you could argue this pushed her to a new level of skill or motivation because this is just traumatizing to see all over again. She literally did this fair and square, knocking the blade out of Saito's hand, taking care of him at the end of the day. Just like Saito's a master of every weapon, you could argue Atsu is unrivaled, and she's a master at every weapon because she's the one that defeated Saito at the very end, even though she did take a few losses. Her combat speed alone is what makes her massively superhuman. She's not one of those characters you're going to see lift a car above her head, but even if she doesn't do stuff like this, she's still superhuman. This is a good example of how her skill can help her bridge the gap on striking power. When she hits beings, partly using her weapon as leverage, she can launch beings in the air with just strikes. So that's why I'm saying, like, skill mixed with her ridiculous speed, with her body weight, it just makes her be able to hit hard. Whatever muscle she might lack, it don't don't really matter at this point. Don't cross her. I mean, just from the simple fact, her being able to deflect bullets like that from that range, she can punch with speeds faster, like double or even triple times faster than a normal human in real life at the bare minimum. I wouldn't be surprised if she could punch down brick walls if she can punch with this level of speed, even though we don't really have nothing to go off of when it comes to her muscle. The game narratively implies she's above average, and whatever she lacks in raw muscle, she makes up in skill, and even you could argue fighting speed, because even in comparison to other characters that can deflect bullets in this game, she's still considered a myth, superstitious, a scary ghost, and defeats more than one character at the same time, one which is shooting at her while the other one's fighting her. Pretty superhuman sounding to me. Imagine you meeting a swordsman in real life that can react at supersonic speeds. You're done. Respect Atsu. Hype the video up if you can, y'all. Thanks for the donations. Respect the Onryō.